this article. Both of them are from the Daily Oklahoman. This is January 11th, 2007. Lawyer is getting new information as he fights the convictions of two men in 1984 slaying. Mark Barrett might have to thank John Grisham if his client's murder convictions are overturned. Grisham's book, The Innocent Man, is helping revive interest in a case Barrett has worked on for several years. Barrett represents Tommy Ward and Carl Fontenot as they continue to fight their murder convictions. The two men were convicted in the 1984 murder of Denise Haraway, a 24-year-old store clerk. Both men's cases were retried, and juries twice found them guilty of Haraway's murder. The spotlight the book has put on the case is helping Barrett get new information in the case that's been on the books for more than 20 years. Both men are serving life sentence after being convicted of abducting and then killing Haraway. Ward and Fontenot were convicted in 1985. Haraway's body was found in 1986 in Hughes County. I'm hoping to get information about the cases that will ideally solve them, said Barrett, a Norman attorney. With the public attention, I think there comes a substantial questioning of their guilt. We're just trying to figure out who did it. There have been people who have come forward with new information, some of which has been helpful. The publishing of the book has definitely resulted in more people paying attention to the situation. The Dreams of Ada. Grisham's book details the conviction and exoneration of Ron Williamson and Dennis Fritz and the 1982 death of Deborah Sue Carter. Both men were released when DNA evidence pointed to another man. Grisham's book also makes references to The Dreams of Ada by Robert Meyer. Mayer's book, which was reprinted after Grisham's book came out, criticizes evidence that led to the convictions of Ward and Fontenot. These men were sent to jail on confessions that later were called dreams. Sitting District Attorney Bill Peterson was the prosecutor in all the cases. Barrett helped in the final defense of Williamson and Fritz and said he couldn't ignore the plight of Ward and Fontenot. When I was working for Ron and Dennis, people mentioned this case, Barrett said. It was kind of just a big ugly something right in front of me, glaring at me. It seemed like it shouldn't be ignored. Barrett has been working for Ward and Fontenot for free. Sometimes the case takes up hours of his time. Other times it's peppered among criminal and civil work. I think these cases went through the system at a time when a lot of the evidence was only looked at from one direction, Barrett said. I believe they're innocent, and the evidence that put them there doesn't add up. It happened in that period where the cry against the bad guys was so loud that the cases were being looked at differently than they are now, not with sufficient skepticism. Looking for anything. An internet website, wardandfontenot.com, that highlights both books, asks people to send in tips about what they might know about the crime. The website says, we are looking for anything that could help prove who is responsible for the death. Assume that whatever you know or have heard is important. In particular, we are hoping to hear from people who, in 1984, lived near the place where the body was found. National news organizations also are interested in the Ward and Fontenot case, as Grisham's book makes its rounds. When Mayer's book originally was published in 1987, the case received attention. However, both men have remained behind bars. Barrett has been interviewed by Dateline NBC for a segment the TV news show plans to do on the case. NBC producer Tom Keenan said a segment is in production, but no air date is set. In the picture, Carl Fontenot left and Tommy Ward are showed in a 1985 photograph being escorted from the Pontotoc County Courthouse after they were convicted in the slaying of a convenience store clerk.